cadastral map, it shows all the boundaries of the property lines. It is very important when you are buying a land or an agricultural field, when you are constructing a layout, etc. This is one more example of a cadastral map. It shows different plots. So cadastral map, it shows the boundaries of properties. Next, to prepare an engineering map. This is what we'll be doing in your degree. We are preparing engineering maps. That is, when you are constructing a road, what is the map of that road, center line of that road. Or when you are constructing railways, what is the center line of the railway? When you are constructing a dam, what is the map of that dam, canals, buildings, etc. Next is to prepare a contour map. You will know about the details of the contour map later in your curriculum when you will study contours. Next is to prepare military maps, geological maps, archaeological maps, etc. The last use is to set out works and transfer details from work on the ground. To test set out works meaning, one example is, let's say we're constructing a very big, very huge building, and it has lots of columns or foundations. Uh, when you're constructing the foundations to excavate for it, so you have to first mark the foundations on the ground. So if for a very small structure such as a very small house, 2 BHK, you can mark it using tape or ropes or threads. But for a very large, very huge building having a large number of foundations and columns, you have to use some instrument such as total station to mark the position of columns and foundations on the ground. So that is an example of set out works. Next, topographical map. As I've told you, topographical map, it shows the topographical features such as forest, deserts, rivers, etc. Cadastral map, it shows property boundary lines. This is an engineering map showing the traffic flow, uh, roads and highways. This is a contour map. This is a geological map of India showing different deposits, deposits of different types of rocks all over the India. This is an archaeological map showing archaeological sites. This is a military map showing different posts, line of control. Next, uh, primary divisions of surveying. Now, uh, there are two primary divisions. There are two divisions of surveying. The first one is plane surveying. The second one is geodetic surveying. The difference between these two is in plane surveying we are considering the Earth's surface as flat. The curvature of the Earth is neglected in plane surveying. In geodetic surveying, we are taking into account the curvature of the Earth. So that's why all the surveying lines in plane surveying are straight, and all the surveying lines in geodetic surveying are curved because the surface of the Earth is not flat; it is curved. But the assumption that surveying lines are straight holds good if the area of survey is small, such as the college ground, the ground in our college. If we draw a survey line on that ground, then the assumption that the surveying line on the ground in our college is straight holds good because the ground is a very small, very small area compared to the whole earth. So if your area of surveying is very small, it is very safe to assume that all the surveying lines are straight. And it is safe to assume that you are doing plane survey. But if you are conducting survey over large areas, such as if you are conducting survey throughout India, then you cannot assume the line as straight. You have to take into account the curvature of the earth. So this is the difference between plane surveying and geodetic surveying. In plane surveying, Earth surface is considered as plane, curvature of Earth is ignored, and line joining any two points is considered as straight line. Any triangle formed by 3 points is considered as a plane triangle. So all the angles in a triangle are considered to be plane angles. Now, it can be if the surveying is carried out in a smaller area, say less than 250 kilometers square, then you can safely assume it as plane surveying. Whereas in geodetic surveying, the curvature of the earth is considered is curved. The line joining any two stations is considered as curved line, and the triangle formed by any 3 points is considered as spherical triangle, and it is carried out for larger areas, let's say more than 250 square kilometers. Next, there are two fundamental principles in surveying. The first one is whole to part, and the second one is to locate a point by at least two measurements. The first one is working from whole to part. One good example is, let's say if you want to draw a map of India. If you want to draw a map of India, first you will draw the outline of India. First you will draw the outer boundary of India. And then you will draw the states, the boundary of the state. When you draw the outer boundary of India, if there is any error in drawing the boundaries of the state, it won't affect the outer boundary because the outer boundary is already drawn. So there is a minimization of the error. But let's consider the opposite case. That is working from part to whole. Working from part to whole is if you want to draw a map of India, you will first draw. You first start drawing the boundaries of state. Let's say you start from Madhya Pradesh, then Maharashtra, then you will draw outline of Karnataka, etc. So if there is any error when you are drawing the boundary of Madhya Pradesh, that error will get transferred when you are drawing the boundary of Maharashtra, and that error will get transferred when you are drawing the boundary of Karnataka, Goa, etc. So the error gets multiplied or magnetized every time you draw. So when you are working from part to whole, the error will be magnified. Whereas when you are working from whole to part, the error will be minimized. First, the primary control points is drawn, then the secondary control points are located, which are of lesser importance, and then they are drawn, and finally the tertiary control points are drawn. Next, locating a point with the help of two other points. Let's say we want to locate a point C, and we know the position of points A and B. One method to locate is if we know what is the distance between A and C, and what is the angle from B to C. Next, if you know what is the angle at A and B from to C. The next is if you know what is the distance between B and C, and if you also know what is the angle between B to C. Next, uh, if you know what is the distance between what is the perpendicular distance from C to AB and distance between B and that perpendicular point. Or else, if you know what is the distance AC and what is the distance BC, you draw an arc from both the points, and wherever it intersects, you'll get the point C. So these are the 5 methods of locating a point with the help of 2 points whose position is already known. Next, classification of surveying. So, classification of surveying. Uh, the classification is based on different criteria for different things, such as it is based on the desired, the amount of accuracy desired, or it is based on the type of instrument used. It is based on the place where the survey is being done, conducted, or it is based on the purpose of surveying, or it is based on methods of surveying, by which method the surveying is done. So let us go to the first one, that is based on accuracy design. If you want, so this is nothing but the primary divisions of surveying, that is plane surveying and geodetic surveying. If you want your survey to be completely accurate, you can assume whatever survey you are conducting as geodetic surveying, or else lesser amount of accuracy is desired, you can assume the survey being conducted as plane surveying. And this assumption holds good for smaller areas. But if you're conducting survey over larger parts such as the whole of Karnataka, the whole of India, then you have to assume the survey as geodetic survey. Next, based on different types of instruments, we have chain survey if chains are used, compass survey if compass is used, chain and compass survey if both chain and compass is used, leveling. Leveling is done in vertical dimension. Plane table surveying if plane table instrument is used, theodolite surveying if theodolite is used, tachyometry if tachyometer is used, aerial photogrammetry. This is a type of surveying where we are taking a photo and we are analyzing the photograph to find the distance between 2 points and the features that are present in the photograph, or electronic measurement uh, device. If you are using an electronic devices such as electronic theodolite or total station. So this is a chain. All the survey in 18th, 17th century, all the distances was measured using a chain. There are many types of chain, metric chain, reckoning chain, etc. So if you are using a chain, then it is called as chain survey. Now, this is a compass. Most commonly used compass in surveying is prismatic compass and surveyor's compass. So compasses are used to find directions, or they are also used to measure angles between two survey lines. So if compass is being used, then that particular type of survey is called compass survey. Leveling, as I told you, leveling is done in vertical plane. We are measuring what is the vertical distance between 2 points. So if you are doing that, and if you are using any level, now the instrument that is used in leveling is called a level. If you are using any level, then that type of survey is called leveling. Plane table surveying. In this type of surveying, the plotting and the measurement are done in the field. Whereas in compass survey or in chain survey, we take the measurements, we go to the office, we plot or do the office work. But in plane table surveying, both the measurements and the plotting work is done on the field. Next, if you are using a theodolite is an instrument which measures both horizontal and vertical angles. In compass, we are measuring only horizontal angles. So if you are using a theodolite, then it is called theodolite survey. Tachyometer, then it is called tachyometric survey. It is also type of a theodolite can be used as tachyometer, or even a level can be used as tachyometer if it has crosshairs. Next is photogrammetric survey. A photograph is taken of the area and all the features are studied from that photograph. EMD, if you are using any electronic distance EDM, electronic distance measuring instrument such as total station or electronic theodolite. Next is based on place of the survey. We have land survey, topographical survey, cadastral survey, city survey, hydrographical survey, underground survey, and aerial survey. Land survey is done on land, hydrographical survey is done on water, underground survey is done underground, aerial survey is done in the sky. It may be astronomy or aerial photogrammetry. Now, based on the purpose of surveying, we have engineering survey. It is done for engineering purposes such as construction of roads, highways, railways, buildings, etc. Defense survey, it is done for defense purpose such as locating enemies position or locating the line of control, locating the bunkers, etc. The positions of enemy. Geological survey, to find various geological deposits, its locations in the map. Geographical survey, it is done to find geographical features of the area. Mine survey, in mines we have to locate the deposits and we have to construct tunnels. So surveying done for such purposes is called mine survey. Archaeological survey, it is done in archaeological sites to find archaeological relics. Route survey, reconnaissance survey, preliminary survey, control survey, location survey. Reconnaissance survey is done before we start any type of survey. Um, like the first time you are going to site, you just see the features of the site, like where we can start the survey, where we can end, what are the difficulties that we can face in this site. That is reconnaissance survey. The survey which is done before the detailed survey, it is done by the person through his eyes. So these are the different types of survey based on purpose. Next is based on methods. So there are many methods in your survey which you will come across in your subject. So one such example is triangulation survey. If we are using method of triangulation, this is how the whole India map was plotted by using triangulation survey. Next is traversing. It is a it can be done using compass or a theodolite. So if you are doing traversing, it's called traversing survey. So these are the classifications of surveying. So thank you. We'll meet in next class.